Welcome back to the OCD and Anxiety podcast. I'm Robert, an OCD coach who knows firsthand what it's like to struggle with sensorimotor OCD. Today's episode focuses specifically on swallowing obsessions, an often misunderstood but distressing form of OCD. Remember, if you're looking for personalized support, I offer a free discovery call. Just head over to robertjamescoaching.com to schedule yours. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf, and that's by Jon Kabat-Zinn. Swallowing obsessions in sensorimotor OCD involve becoming hyper-aware of automatic bodily functions, leading to anxiety and compulsive checking. And this particular subtype can be particularly distressing because swallowing is something that, of course, we're naturally doing most of the time without thinking. But with sensorimotor OCD, this effortless action becomes an obsession, causing enormous anxiety and disruption to everyday life. In my own journey, with sensorimotor OCD, I had a lot of obsession surrounding the mouth, about swallowing, and I found it incredibly difficult. And I think a sense of hopelessness was something that was really at the heart of this, because as I was just talking about, when you're really struggling with sensorimotor OCD, one of the worst things about it is that the actual obsession, the thing that you're getting stuck on, well, potentially that is something that you can always think about. If it's swallowing, it's something that is there that you're doing a lot throughout the day. But now we've made a kind of conscious obsession about it. We tend to feel like we need to do it more, or that we need to do it manually, or that we need to do it in a specific way, or other obsessions are about things like, well, maybe there's something wrong with my mouth, or my teeth, or my tongue, or my swallowing. Certainly for me, I spent a lot of time kind of researching those things. Am I swallowing correctly? Is there something wrong with my mouth? And, it's incredibly difficult to deal with when you're thinking about this all the time, when the whole day you're really fixated on it. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to have more certainty about it. You're trying to find the solution. And actually, all of these things that you're doing, the checking, the trying to solve it, actually, they become part of the kind of compulsive loop that we get stuck in. And they're part of the reason for why our attention remains fixated on the swallowing itself. So here are 4 genuinely helpful tips that have made a real difference for me and many others. Tip 1 is to cultivate hope. And it's common to feel hopeless with sensorimotor OCD for all the reasons that I've just been talking about. But try to remind yourself that many people, including myself, have actually successfully managed this type of OCD. And whilst it's challenging, it is absolutely possible to recover and actually to start living your life again, despite the fact that this type of OCD has come into your life. I think so many people get fixated on this idea that now that they've experienced this OCD, they can never forget about it. But in my experience, that's just not the case. That's just a trick of the OCD kind of keeping you stuck in that trap. Tip 2 is to give yourself permission. Start gently reminding yourself, I'm allowed to notice my swallowing. It's okay, and it's not actually a problem. And this might seem uncomfortable at first, but by normalizing your awareness, you actually start to reduce the anxiety that you've associated with it. You're training your brain that your awareness itself isn't harmful or dangerous in some way. It's simply a sensation. It doesn't need to be fixed. I wanted to share a testimonial from someone who has worked with me in coaching. If you're looking for support with OCD, it can be helpful to hear from others who have been through the process. Here's what they had to say. I found Rob through his podcast and could not recommend coaching sessions with him enough. I have been to several therapists, each with different approaches, but none are nearly as effective as Rob's. Rob is compassionate and understanding, and his focus on acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, is extremely valuable. The mind can be challenging to navigate sometimes. Rob has an excellent understanding of the anxious and OCD brain, and is able to explain how to get on with enjoying your life despite these challenges. Thank you, Rob, for helping me and others. The work that you do is so valuable. I'm really grateful for those kind words, and if you're looking for structured support with OCD, I offer a free discovery call where we can chat about your challenges and see how coaching might help. You can book that over at robertjamescoaching.com. The link is in the show notes. Tip 3 is intentional exposure. Actively practice exposure by deliberately paying attention to the swallowing sensation at times. Instead of constantly pushing it away, avoiding or fearing it, intentionally noticing it teaches your mind that these sensations aren't threats. With repeated practice, your anxiety and sensitivity to swallowing sensations will actually begin to decrease. And tip 4 is acceptance and commitment therapy. ACT was actually one of the most transformative approaches for me for dealing with sensorimotor OCD. And it's really learning to refocus your energy and your attention onto meaningful activities in your life. Ultimately, it's about trying to allow the swallowing to remain in the background, to realize we don't need to get rid of it. And as you live your life more fully, the intensity of the obsession gradually over time lessens, and you find yourself noticing it less and less. Try to remember that overcoming swallowing obsessions is about changing your relationship with the sensations, not trying to eliminate them or get rid of them or push them away. If you'd like additional support, feel free to schedule your free discovery call at robertjamescoaching.com. Thank you so much for listening. Please do subscribe to the podcast. It really does help. And I will see you next time. This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are dealing with OCD, anxiety, or any mental health concerns, please consult a licensed mental health professional for support.